Hello grade 7 learners, have a nice day. Welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'll be discussing to you how to change terminating decimals to fraction form. Before we go on further with changing decimal to fraction, let's have a short review first about the place value of a number after the decimal point, because this is very important in changing decimal to fraction. This is the decimal point, and after the decimal point, the place value of 1 is tenths, place value of 2 is on the hundredths place, while 3 is on the thousandths place, 4 10,000ths place, 5 100,000ths place, while 6 is on the millionths place. In most cases, the first three place value are very important: tenths, hundredths, thousands. Why? Because with this, we are going to base our denominator. If the place value is tenths, then the denominator of a fraction is 10. If the place value of the last number after the decimal point is on the hundredths place, then the denominator is 100, while 1000 if the place value of the last digit after the decimal point is 1000. Now let's have the first example. Express 5 tenths in fraction form. Okay, first we have to determine the place value of the last digit after the decimal point. Since we only have here one digit after the decimal point, so we have to determine the place value of 5. And of course, the place value of 5 is on the tenths place. So meaning to say, the denominator of our fraction is 10. Okay, so we have to write the given. We have here 5 tenths. Now, copy 5, disregard the decimal point as well as the 0, and write it in the numerator part. So we have now 5 in our numerator. For our denominator, we have here 10 since the place value of 5 is on the tens place. Now, we have to reduce 5 over 10 to its lowest term. How? We have to divide both the numerator and the denominator by the greatest common factor, or the GCF. And the greatest common factor between 5 and 10 is equal to 5. So 5 divided by 5 is equal to 1, and 10 divided by 5 is equal to 2. So therefore, 5 over 10 has a lowest term of 1/2. Therefore, we can now conclude that 1/2 is the fraction form of 5 tenths. Now let's have example number 2. Express 5 and 2 tenths in fraction form. Same with number 1, we have to determine the place value of 2. And the place value of 2 is on the tens place. So therefore, the denominator of our fraction is still equal to 10. Now, what shall we do with the whole number 5? Okay, we'll just set aside 5 and we will work for the decimal part, which is 2 tenths. So we have here 2 tenths, copy 2, and write it in the numerator part. And for our denominator, we have again 10 because the place value of 2 is on the tenths place. Next, we have to reduce 2 over 10 to its lowest term by dividing 2 and 10 by the greatest common factor. And the greatest common factor is 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 10 divided by 2 is equal to 5. So 1/5 is the lowest term of 2 over 10. Next, bring back the whole number. So we have here 5, and 5 will be written as the whole number part, while 1/5 will be written as the fraction part. This is a mixed number, 5 and 1/5. Therefore, 5 and 1/5 is the fraction form of 5 and 2/10. Now let's have the third example. Express 25/100ths in fraction form. Okay, first we have to determine the place value of the last digit after the decimal point. And our last digit after the decimal point here is 5. The place value of 5 is on the hundredths place. So meaning to say the denominator of our fraction is 100. So we have here 25/100ths. Then we are going to copy the 25 as our numerator, and we're going to write here 100 as our denominator since 5 is on the hundredths place. Now we're going to reduce it to the lowest term. We have to divide both the numerator and the denominator by the greatest common factor. And the greatest common factor between 25 and 100 is 25. So 25 divided by 25 is 1, and 100 divided by 25 is 4. So the fraction form of 25/100ths in lowest term is 1/4. So we have now here our conclusion. Therefore, 1/4 is the fraction form of 25/100ths. Now moving on, example number 4. Express 1 and 52/100ths in fraction form. So in here we have also a whole number 1, and the decimal part is 52/100ths. Same with example number 3. Determine the place value of the last digit after the decimal point. So the last digit after the decimal point is 2, and the place value of 2 is on the hundredths place. What shall we do with the whole number 1? We have to set aside first the whole number, and we're going to work for the decimal part, which is 52/100ths. So we have to set aside 1, and we'll just copy the decimal part, this one. So we have here 52/100ths. So we have to copy 52 and write it in the numerator part, 52. And for our denominator, we have here 100, since the place value of the last digit after the decimal point is on the hundredths place. So we have now the fraction form 52 over 100. This is not yet final because we need to express 52 over 100 in lowest term. We have to divide both the numerator and the denominator by the greatest common factor, and the greatest common factor between 52 and 100 is 4. So 52 divided by 4 is 13, and 100 divided by 4 is 25. Now what shall we do next is we have to bring back the whole number 1. Copy again the given 1 and 52/100ths. Now we have to write 1 here as the whole number part, while 13 over 25 will be written as the fraction part. This is now the mixed number of 1 and 52/100ths. So therefore, 1 and 13 over 25 is the fraction form of 1 and 52 hundredths. Now let's have the fifth example. Express 175 thousandths in fraction form. Okay, first we have to determine the place value of the last digit after the decimal point, and our last digit here is 5, and the place value of 5 is on the thousandths place. So since the place value is on the thousandths place, we will have a denominator of 1000. So we'll just copy the given 175 thousandths. So we have to copy 175 and write it as our numerator. For the denominator, we'll have 1000 since the place value of 5 is on the thousandths place. Now we have to reduce 175 over 1000 to its lowest term by dividing both the numerator and the denominator by the greatest common factor. And the greatest common factor is 25. Now divide 175 divided by 25, that is equal to 7. Then 1000 divided by 25 is 40. 7 over 40 is the lowest term. Therefore, we can now conclude that 7 over 40 is the fraction form of 175 thousandths. Now let's have example number 6. Express 2 and 5 thousandths in fraction form. So in here we have also a whole number. So same with example number 5, we have to determine the place value of the last digit after the decimal point. So our last digit after decimal point is 5, and the place value of 5 is on the thousandths place. So meaning to say, the denominator of our fraction is 1000. So what shall we do with the whole number? So for a while, we have to set aside 2. We'll just set aside 2, and we have to work for the decimal part, which is 5 thousandths. So we have here 5 thousandths. Just copy 5 and write it in our numerator. Disregard the 2 zeros here. Okay, and our denominator is 1000 since the place value of 5 is on the thousandths place. Now we have to reduce 5 over 1000 to its lowest term, and the greatest common factor between 5 and 1000 is 5, so we have to divide it. So 5 divided by 5 is 1. 1000 divided by 5 is 200. So 1 over 200 is the lowest term of 5 over 1000. Next, we have to bring back the whole number 2. Okay, so we have to write 2 as the whole number part, and the equivalent fraction of 5 over 1000 is 1 over 200. So we have to write it here. So we have 2 and 1 over 200. So therefore, 2 and 1 over 200 is the fraction form of 2 and 5 thousandths. All you have to remember, my dear learners, that if the place value of the last digit is on the tenths place, the denominator of a fraction is 10. And if it is on the hundredths place, the denominator is 100. And if it is in the thousandths place, the denominator is 1000. Then do not forget, you have to reduce the fraction to its lowest term. Thank you so much for watching, and if in case you have questions or clarification, just write it in the comment box. Don't forget to like and share it to the other students for them to learn or master the lesson. Don't forget also to subscribe to be updated for more math lesson videos and turn on the bell for notifications. That's all for today. But before I end, let me share to you one of the verses from the Bible. My son, hear the instruction of thy father and forsake not the law of thy mother. Proverbs 1 verse 8. That's all for today and God bless you all.